Welcome to the 10-Minute Car Sales Talk Podcast, where it's all about life in the car business. Telling you like it is, here's the man with the plan, Terry Cameron.
Welcome back to another episode of the 10-Minute Car Sales Talk Podcast. I am Terry Cameron. You know, I always try to keep my podcast clean, but this one, I'm going to have to go ahead and use that 4-letter word, training. Okay, that's 7 letters, but it's still a 4-letter word, a bad word that we just don't like to use too much in the car business. And I don't understand why. The most or best trained organization in the world is the United States military. And whenever we get into some kind of scruffle or war or whatever, we seem to kick their asses. And we seem to do it pretty easily. And that's because the people that are over there, the people that are running the show, they believe in training. And if they didn't, most of our guys and gals wouldn't come back. So let's talk a little bit about training. Help me figure out why we just don't like to do it. Is it the preparation before the training that you have to get ready for? Is it the wasted time that you could be actually in line at the donut shop? Or maybe it's like Dave Anderson said in a recent podcast on the Game Changer Life. Dave says that we are pretty much all half intelligent. He said because intelligent, the definition for intelligent is the ability to learn something and then put it into place. I see all too often really smart people in the car business that learn but they don't use. That's a shame because if they did, they'd be making a lot more money and enjoying their career more than they are right now. Over the past couple months, I've asked several managers to send me their training plans because some dealerships, some managers are really good at it. They have a training schedule, they follow it, and it's usually something that needs to be addressed at their dealership. But what I found in most of these training plans is that most of them jumped around from subject to subject on a daily basis, sometimes on a weekly basis. Proper training on anything takes longer than 1/2 hour morning meeting. For example, how to do a proper presentation. Don't you think if we really want to get good at this, one of the major skills in the process of selling cars, that we ought to spend more than 30 minutes one day a week on it? I think you practice, drill, and rehearse until you can't go wrong, like it's second nature. But doing it one day and then the next day training on something totally different than that, it's impossible to retain what we need to know to be successful. Selling cars can be very lucrative, but you have to know how to do it. You have to know the process. You have to train on that process. And if we're looking at this from an individual basis, why aren't you worried about training? Why aren't you doing it yourself? Why are you not investing in your career? Why are you not paying attention in those meetings? Why aren't you asking questions? Why aren't you participating? I spend a lot of time and a lot of money on training, not just for my sales force, but for myself also, because I take pride in what I do. And it's obvious when I'm viewing or observing salespeople at my dealership and other organizations, it's obvious which ones are not trained, or at least not trained properly. They shortcut, they try to cut to the chase, they asked closing questions before they earn the right to do that. They don't have any skills as far as how to build rapport. They're hoping that you're coming to buy something and you want it so bad that you won't let them talk you out of it. There's some salespeople out here in the United States that are selling cars and selling 40, 50, 60 cars every single month. Do you think they wing it? As a matter of fact, the 15 to 20 car salesperson, do you think that salesperson wings it? I doubt it. You can do better in everything that you do with just a little bit of constant, consistent, and relevant training. So I'm going to ask you to do this. I want you to figure out a way, if you're not going to be trained by management at your dealership, or you are management at your dealership, start thinking about how you're going to implement a training program. I'm going to tell you that the easiest way to do it is write it down, put it in a calendar. There are tons of information online that you can find. There's meeting outlines, training outlines, and if you were lucky like me and you got to spend some time in the military, or you're coming from an education background, you already know how to write lesson plans. You already know how to follow training schedules. Don't let training or the lack of enthusiasm from your sales force keep you from training them. It won't take long if you're doing it the right way before they're all doing it the right way. And they're going to thank you for it. One of the best things about being a manager in the car business is the ability to watch your people grow, to watch them come into the career, this field, with little or no money in the bank, living paycheck to paycheck, and then 6, 8, 9, 10, 12 months down the road, seeing them blossoming in the car business. They've got more money than month. They're not looking at the prices when they go to the grocery store. They can have a happy Christmas. They look better. They feel better. The cars they drive are better. The clothes they wear are better. And you have a lot to do with that. You're putting more food on the table. You're helping their family survive. You have a lot to say in how their life is going to go. Now, I know I'm rambling on a lot about this, but when I have my training meetings, I can see the look in the eyes of the salespeople and other managers that are actually interested in the topic that we are discussing. But I can also see the 1, 2, or 3 others that are just with their eyes glazed over, that just can't wait for the meeting to get over with so they can run and get their breakfast or get back on the computer, Facebook, and beat another level of Candy Crush. I don't know about you, but at our dealership, we spend 10, 12 hours a day there. We probably work 3 or 4 hours out of that day. What I would ask everybody to do is to just go ahead and add 1 hour of intense, quality, relevant training to your day. And if you're not going to get it from management, do it yourself. Read a book. Watch a YouTube video. Listen to a podcast. Role play. You guys remember that, right? Role playing? Do whatever you need to do to make yourself better. And at the end of the day, the question you should be asking yourself is, am I better today at selling cars than I was yesterday? And if you can't honestly say yes, then you got to start all over again. Don't let training scare you. Seek it out. And if you can't figure out what to talk about, hey, shoot me an email. Go to my website, 10minutecarsalestalk.com. Shoot me an email. I'll send you everything I have on training, all kinds of meetings, notes, everything that you need to ensure that you have some training available. So guys, if you want to get better at this, we're going into the winter time. Things are going to slow down a little bit, especially if you're up north. Let's get ready for this the slow time. Let's get trained up. Let's turn into professionals. Let's learn everything we can. Practice, drill, rehearse, role play, so we can actually just zoom right through the wintertime into the springtime without noticing any kind of decline in our business. I know that if you ask your general manager or dealer if they would like you to train more, their answer would be yes. I don't think there's a dollar amount that you can put on training. I think whatever you spend, if you do it right, it's going to be well worth it. If you spend a little, spend a lot. Doesn't matter. As long as you're doing it right, it's constant, consistent, and relevant, you're going to get better. And that's all we ask, is for everybody to get better. Training is the only way to do that. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this on my YouTube channel, so if you can, search for me, Terry Cameron, or the 10 Minute Sales Talk YouTube channel, and go ahead and subscribe. I'm going to be putting out more and more videos as we go on that you can use for your training and your salespeople's training. Again, guys, I'm sorry I had to jump all over on this one, but this is near and dear to my heart, and it's something that most people don't like to talk about, and it's not really easy to convince people that training is the way to go. Or maybe it is. They're just half intelligent. Remember, the sky's the limit. I'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening to this week's podcast. Please rate it on iTunes and visit the 10minutesalestalk.com website to send an email. We appreciate your valuable feedback, and don't forget to share the show with a friend.